My name is Titi. I am 7 years old. My mommy used to be kind. She used to hug me and my brother every morning. She used to cook hot food and tell us stories. She used to smile. But now my mommy has changed. When she wears her new wig, she starts shouting. She shouts at my brother for playing too loud. She shouts at me for eating too slow. Even when we are quiet, she still shouts. Sometimes she does not cook for us. She does not laugh. Daddy says maybe she is tired. But I know the truth. I have seen it with my own 2 eyes. Mommy only acts like this when she wears that new wig she just bought.
Once upon a time, there was a woman called Nabi. If you saw her, you would say, see, fine woman. She was beautiful, tall, skin shining like fresh palm oil, and her hair was always neat. But the beauty was not just outside. Nabi had a good heart. She loved her husband, Asang, and their 2 children, Titi and Tala. Every morning, Nabi cooked hot food for her family. Sweet fried plantain, thick groundnut soup, soft yam. She made sure Titi's hair was neat and she packed Tala's school bag. And in the evening, her house was full of laughter. Friends would come, they would gist, they would eat, they would enjoy. Even online, people loved her. Nabi was a big TikTok star. Vendors sent her free wigs, clothes, makeup, anything that would make her look finer. And when she posted, her followers would shout, see my queen. Nabi, teach me how to be like you. You are the finest woman on this app. Nabi would laugh and tell them, my dear, just take care of yourself. Beauty is confidence. Her life was sweet, but sometimes when life is too sweet, it attracts the evil eye. One day, a package arrived. Nabi was used to receiving free samples from TikTok vendors she advertised for, so she didn't think much of it. She tore the box open. Inside, she saw a wig. Long, black, silky. It was the most beautiful wig she had ever seen. This wig will make sense in my next video, she said, running her hands through it. But something felt off. The moment her fingers touched the hair, a strange chill ran down her back. She looked at the package again. There was no company name, no sender details, just the wig. She frowned. Who sent this thing? She shrugged. Free is free. She took the wig inside. That was the day everything changed. That evening, after her bath, Nabi picked up the wig and placed it on her head. The moment it touched her scalp, she felt something strong. She turned to the mirror. See beauty. Her cheekbones looked sharper. Her eyes looked brighter. Her skin looked smoother. She turned left. She turned right. She looked perfect. Her husband, Asang, walked in and smiled. Wow, babes, you look amazing. Nabi flipped her hair and smiled. I know. Asang laughed. Is that how you will do me now? She ignored him. She sat in front of her vanity mirror and started combing the wig, admiring herself. When it was dinner time, she did not cook. Titi and Tala sat at the table, waiting. Mommy, are you not making food? Tala asked. Go and eat bread, Nabi said in an angry voice. The children stared at each other. Asang frowned. Nabi, what's wrong with you? Oh, please, must I cook every day? She turned back to the mirror. She did not know why, but the longer she stared at herself in the mirror wearing that wig, the more powerful she felt. That night, for the first time, she placed the wig on the wig stand next to their bed. And as she closed her eyes, she thought she heard something, a whisper. She told herself it was just the wind. Days passed, weeks. Nabi stopped cooking. She stopped spending time with her children. She would sit before her mirror all day combing the wig. And every night she placed the wig on the wig stand next to their bed. Her husband hated it. Nabi, this is not normal. It feels like the wig is watching us. She laughed. Oh, Asang, stop acting childish. One night, Asang shoved the wig inside the closet. The next morning, he woke up and saw Nabi holding the wig, giving him an angry look. "Don't touch my things again." Another night, he covered the wig with a towel. The next morning, the towel was gone, and the wig was staring again. Nabi became completely obsessed with the wig. She stopped answering her friends' calls. She banned visitors from coming to the house. When her best friend Amma knocked, she shouted from inside, "I don't want to see anyone. Go away." Amma frowned. "But Nabi, what's wrong?" "You are all jealous of me," Amma sighed. She turned to Nabi's husband. "Something is wrong with your wife." Asang held his head in his hands. "I don't know what to do, Amma. She has changed." Amma rubbed his shoulder, comforting him. That night, Titi and Tala sat in their bedroom, whispering. "Mommy only acts this way when she wears that wig," Tala said. "We should hide it," Titi suggested. The next day, when Nabi took her bath, they stole the wig. They stuffed it inside a box and hid it under the couch. For the first time in weeks, their mother walked into the room without the wig on. She looked lost. Her hands were shaking. Her skin was pale. She sat down, blinking fast. "Where is my wig?" No one answered. She started breathing fast. "Where is my wig?" she whispered again. Her eyes darkened. Her lips curled back like an animal. She stood up suddenly. "Where is my wig?" She snatched a knife from the kitchen table. Titi and Tala screamed. Osang rushed into the room. "Nabi, what are you doing?" She bared her teeth. "You took it. You took my wig. Give it back." She lunged at them. Osang grabbed Titi and Tala and ran. Nabi chased them through the house, screaming, waving the knife. "Give me back my wig or I will deal with you." Tala tripped. The knife came down. "Mommy, stop!" Titi, who was watching from the back, threw the wig toward her mother. The moment Nabi's hands touched it, she froze. Her body relaxed. Her breath slowed. She sat on the floor, stroking the wig like a baby. "Oh, my beautiful hair." She did not remember what she had just done. That night, Asang knew this could not continue. His wife, the woman he loved, the woman who once filled their home with warmth, was gone, and something else had taken her place. After putting Titi and Tala to sleep in a locked room for their safety, he sat in the living room, head in his hands. "What kind of thing is this?" he muttered. "A wig that can turn a woman mad?" He needed help. Early the next morning, Asang called a pastor from the local church. The pastor came with the Bible, anointing oil, and a strong voice. "Where is the woman?" he asked. "Inside," Asang said. The pastor marched in confidently. He saw Nabi sitting at her vanity, combing the wig. "Madam, in the name of Jesus, remove that wig from your head." Nabi turned slowly. Her eyes were dark. Her lips curled back in a sneer. "Who are you to tell me what to do?" she hissed. The pastor stepped forward, lifted his Bible, and began to pray. "I bind every evil spirit in this house. I cast out." Before he could finish, Nabi grabbed the oil bottle and threw it at him. "Get out!" she screamed. The bottle smashed against the wall. The pastor did not wait. He grabbed his Bible and ran. Asang ran after him. "Pastor, wait! What should I do?" The pastor did not even look back. "My brother, I don't know. This one is above my level. Pray hard." And just like that, he was gone. Asang stood there, shocked, frustrated, helpless. "God, what is this?" That night, Asang could not sleep. He lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling. Nabi was next to him, breathing softly. The wig was on the stand, watching. He could not take it anymore. He had to get rid of it. Slowly, Asang slipped out of bed. He moved carefully, making sure Nabi did not wake up. He reached for the wig. His fingers hesitated. It felt too warm, too soft, but he did not stop. He took it and walked out of the house, stepping into the cool night air. In the backyard, there was an old metal drum, the perfect place to burn something. Asang threw the wig inside. His hands shook as he struck a match. The fire roared to life. The wig curled and shriveled. The smell of burning hair filled the air. Asang exhaled. It was over. Finally, he felt light, free. He rubbed his face, sighed, and walked back inside. Asang entered the bedroom. He was about to climb into bed when his blood ran cold. The wig was back, sitting on the wig stand, right where it had been before, as if he had never touched it. His breath caught. He turned sharply. His hands were still covered in ash. He had just burned it. His heart pounded. No, it was not possible. Asang stared at the wig. His whole body felt hot. Then he grabbed it again. This time he ran. He threw it back into the fire. The flames swallowed it up. It burned. The smell was worse this time, like something rotting. He waited, watched. When he was sure that the wig had burned completely, he sighed and walked back inside. To his shock, when he stepped into the bedroom, the wig was back again, sitting on the wig stand, waiting for him. Asang's legs almost gave out. His chest was tight. His hands were shaking. He could barely breathe, but he grabbed the wig again. This time he poured kerosene on it. He lit it up. The flames roared higher than before. The heat was so strong he had to step back. He watched it turn to ash again. Nothing could survive that. He even took a video of himself burning the wig just to make sure he was not running mad. Feeling weak, exhausted, and terrified, he walked back inside. And there it was, the wig, sitting on the stand, waiting. Asang backed away slowly, his breath shallow, his skin cold. He could not speak, he could not think. Then, Nabi stirred in bed. Her voice was heavy with tiredness, half asleep. Asang, what are you doing? Asang could not answer. He could only stare at the wig. It had not been burned. It could not be destroyed. What did that mean? What was this thing in his house? The next few days, Asang could not sleep. His mind was restless. Nabi was getting worse. She barely spoke now. She sat in front of the mirror for hours, combing the wig like it was a part of her. Asang needed answers. So he left the house one night, walking aimlessly through the streets. He did not know where he was going. Then he saw her. An old woman sitting by the side of the road, minding her business. She was barefoot, her wrapper torn, her grey hair wild. People crossed the road to avoid her. Some whispered, "That mad woman again. She has been like that for years." But when Asang passed, the woman looked up. She stared at him with knowing eyes. "Your house is not safe," she said. Asang stopped in his tracks. "Excuse me." The woman stood up slowly, her bones creaking. She looked at him for a long time, her eyes cutting into his soul. "There is something in your house, something that watches, something that waits." Asang's skin turned cold. "What are you talking about?" The woman stepped closer. "Your wife does not sleep alone. She is never alone." Asang shook all over. The woman grabbed his hand. Her grip was strong, too strong for someone her age. "Listen to me before it is too late," she whispered. "That thing on her head, it is not hers. It was never meant for her." Asang's heart was pounding in his chest. Then what must I do? The woman looked up at the sky, then back at him. "Return it," Asang blinked. "Return it to who?" The woman released his hand. "Find the one it belongs to before it is too late. Your wife will never be the same until you return it." She turned away, her back hunched. Asang took a shaky breath. "Wait! Who sent it? Where do I return it?" The woman smiled. but it was a sad smile. Some things do not want to be found. She walked away, disappearing into the night. Asang stood there, not sure what to do. The wind whispered past his ears. The wig was not meant for Nabi. So who sent it? And who was he supposed to return it to? Asang ran home after that. His heart was beating fast. The old woman's words kept repeating in his head. When Asang burst into the house, he found Nabi exactly where he had left her, sitting at her vanity mirror, combing the wig. Her eyes were empty, her face expressionless. "Nabi," he called, wanting to ask her where she got the wig from. She did not answer. Her fingers moved slowly through the wig, over and over like a machine. Asang swallowed his saliva. He could not waste time. He needed to find where that wig came from. He went to the storage room, where they kept old boxes, plastic bags, random things they had no use for but never threw away. He hoped she had not thrown the package away. The storage room was dimly lit and he moved fast, throwing things aside. Old shoes, an empty suitcase, a blender that stopped working last year. Then his hands hit something, a small box, brown. His fingers shook as he picked it up. The box was unmarked, no brand name, no logo. His heart raced. It was the wig's package, luckily. Asang opened the box. Disappointingly, there was nothing inside. At least, that's what he thought at first. It was only when he started desperately tearing the box apart that something slipped out of a folded corner, as if it had been hidden there. Something fluttered to the floor. A small receipt. He picked it up quickly. The print was faded, but he could still read it. Vendor, Luke's Hair Boutique. Order number 9283-XL. Delivery address, Nabi Asang. His eyes scanned the receipt quickly, searching for something useful. Then he saw it, a website. www.looksHairBoutique.com. His heart pounded. He had a lead. Asang ran to the living room, grabbed his laptop and typed the website into his browser. He pressed enter. The screen loaded. He waited. And then Google said, "This website does not exist." Asang stared at the screen. His chest grew hot. He refreshed the page. Nothing. He typed the link again. Nothing. "What is this?" he said. His fingers gripped the laptop tighter. The website was gone. Asang sat back in his chair, his mind spinning. Who sent this wig? Why is there a receipt with a website that doesn't exist? Was this a real company or something else? Why did they send the wig to his wife? He looked at the receipt again, studying every word. Then something hit him, the order number. Could he track it? His hands were shaking, but he stood up. He had to keep going. He had to find out the truth, because if he did not, his wife would never come back. He would lose the mother of his children forever. Thanks for watching, but this story is far from over. Who sent the wig? Why did they choose Nabi? And will Asang find the original owner before it's too late? Stay tuned, because the truth is darker than you think.